We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show, episode 239. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. To my right is the returning and new Scholars of Wrestling champion, Scholar Tarek. How are you feeling tonight, sir?
I am simply feeling wonderful, Sir Jeff. Thank you for that wonderful introduction.
I'm a noble now. I dig it.
Well, now, I have a new Scholar Tark. I am now enlightened. I like to look at things at the positives. And you were a very worthy adversary when it comes to the Scholars of Wrestling Championship.
I'll tell you what, I like this new Tarek. It's sporting, still gracious in victory, truly a champion of the people. Isn't that right, Scholar Brian?
Wait for it.
I am savoring the moment. Whatever.
Well, don't put yourself down, Scholar Brian. You were just as worthy a champion before. And granted, you may not have held the title long, but on the bright side, you are now having the title of no longer being the shortest reigning champion. Congratulations.
That does make me very happy. It seems like the month off has rejuvenated Tarek, Scholar Tarek, in a very nice way.
It certainly has. And even though my last reign was the shortest so far, you know what? A title reign is still a title reign, and you know what? I'll take that L.
And even more so, as I continue to call myself the Undisputed Scholar, eventually I will not be the only Undisputed Scholar. You are slowly building up your accomplishments and doing such that. Very soon, you will call yourself Undisputed Scholar, just as you will eventually call yourself Undisputed Scholar. It may not be as long as he's doing it, but it will come to you eventually, good sir.
Isn't it all that we're all better people? I don't care. I'm rolling with this. I'll take it.
Like I said,
Fishnet.
Waiting for the shoe to drop.
Like I said, I am an enlightened scholar. I am feeling so positively positive right now.
Have you been doing your yoga? Inside jokes for the win. But in the meantime...
Inside jokes for wrestling fans. Only
yes,
wrestling fans will get that reference.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Not for nothing, in all relative seriousness, this week in wrestling, especially this past pay-per-view of the Elimination Chamber, had a lot more to offer than I expected. Well, in my case anyway. There was a lot I personally enjoyed. So without further delay, let's get right into it. This is a review of Elimination Chamber 2019, starting with, right from 205 Live, Buddy Murphy defeated Akira Tozawa. I don't think this came as a surprise to anybody.
No, not at all. Elimination Chamber is the tale of two shows, basically. Okay? There are the extremely good bits, and there are the extremely bad bits. There's no in between. Mm-hmm. And on the extremely good side, kicking us off with the great buffalo wings platter of an appetizer that was Buddy Murphy versus Akira Tozawa, going back in time to the food references.
Always appreciated.
Yes. This was exactly what we thought it was going to be. They got a good amount of time. They both got to showcase their stuff. It was very crisp. It was very smooth. It was a standard Buddy Murphy pay-per-view match to get the crowd amped up, which it did by the end of it, as it always does. They always put it in the position where the people don't care until they get going. And boy, howdy did they get going.
Yeah, I have to admit, I caught on a little bit late. I missed this pre-show match, but I gotta say I was not shocked by the results. I figured Buddy Murphy would win, and let's face it, we all knew that they would deliver.
Buddy Murphy has been a fantastic cruiserweight champion, and I'm gonna be sad to see him lose it at WrestleMania to whoever he's facing.
We will say though, he's pretty much running completely through the 205 Live roster. It's going to be somebody brand new that's going to take this title off him.
I for one am very curious to see who ends up coming out of the woodwork, just to come out of the 205 Live roster, and just who steps up to take him on. But in the meantime, we actually have the show proper, kicking things off with the Women's Elimination Chamber match,
which actually kind of shocked me a little bit.
Why is that?
At the beginning, not knowing what was going to happen later. Okay, I thought the big thing of the day was going to be. I said that Nia Jax and Tamina were going to win. Okay, just because it seemed like a WWE thing to do. Okay, but my head was going, if you're going to have Bayley and Sasha Banks win the thing, women's tag team titles, first ever Elimination Chamber match, I was like, and the way that this company's been run the last year, okay, it actually shocked me that they went on first instead of main event.
It did for me.
It actually did. But
it didn't for me either. I'll explain my logic later.
This had the potential to be so bad, but it turned out to be so good. There were some sloppy bits,
mainly at the beginning.
Sloppy bits.
But it was like it was one of those, like, you didn't get mad at it.
No,
you were just like, look at them. They're nervous. It's their first time. They're having fun. I'm having fun. I'm not even getting. Yeah, I know that came out wrong.
That's what she said.
She's a whore. But really, okay, I do enjoy the fact that the first two teams were the last two teams. I did enjoy the fact that if they were gonna do the Nia Jax and Tamina losing, okay, you can't have Nia Jax taking that pin. So they did that elimination in the correct way. Okay, the Iconics looked good. Holy shit! Okay,
they were. I posted on Twitter, they were complete and total cartoons, and I loved it.
There was nobody in this match, with the exception of Naomi and Carmella, that were filler. All of them deserved to be there. They all had yeah.
I understand.
They
trust me. I understand that the Iconics are the more official tag team of the whole bunch, but with their win-loss record, did they deserve to be there?
For me,
no.
Okay, but for me, they proved themselves in the match itself. Did they deserve to be there by storyline and in record-wise? Did they deserve to be there? Probably not. But in the match,
they did deserve to be a part of it.
In the match themselves, they proved that they belonged there. Okay, that's on them. That's not on that's on WWE booking. That's not on them. Okay, Naomi and Carmella, they got their spots in, but we knew that somebody was going to be punished out of this Usos deal over the weekend. We knew that somebody was going to be punished, and it turned out in this case to be the person who didn't get arrested. It turned out to be Naomi. They go out first with one of the greatest pinfalls I have ever seen.
You gotta also add to the fact with the whole what's the word? The whole story between Corey Graves and Carmella.
Oh,
yeah, they had to avoid that as quickly as possible as well. So,
and by
in the end, both women had to be out of there.
At that point,
controversy. That's the word I was looking for.
At that point, the report about Corey Graves and the separation hadn't come out yet.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, this was pre.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and everybody hit their spots. It was sloppy in the beginning, but with the emotional ending, like it did hit me. It did hit me in the feels when the match was over, and really for the first ever women's tag team championship match in the Elimination Chamber. If you hit me in the feels, we're good, man. That's it.
I do appreciate some of the highlights that were put in this match, especially in reference to last year's women's Elimination Chamber with Sasha Banks and Bayley. With instead of pushing Bayley off the pod like she did last year, Sasha Banks, take my hand, you're my friend now, I love you, and pulled her right up on top of the pod. And one big factor that I did like about it is that this was really Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose's highlight match.
Yeah, they stepped up in a big way.
You definitely see that these two improved in the ring. So when you actually see them, the last team eliminated, and now you're starting to see Mandy Rose being put in a position to take on Asuka, which is most likely just at Fastlane.
Yeah,
but you can see that they're pushing her not to be like. It's not like she's going to beat Asuka. I don't think that's going to happen. But at least they're pushing her to now be somewhat of a contender. Just be like, okay, now Asuka, the SmackDown women's roster, not as full.
Not even in the least at this moment.
So now when you have Mandy Rose and possibly Sonya Deville start slowly transitioning into that title picture, I actually see it.
Like we had inklings. Okay, they got a little bit of time every now and then, and we could see
Naomi, yeah.
and we could see that they weren't bad. We didn't have enough time to show that they were actually like really good, but that's what the Elimination Chamber's for. Okay, time to show up, time to put up or shut up. Mm-hmm. Okay, and just Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville really put up, and I can't wait for when Shayna Baszler comes up. I want to see Sonya Deville versus Shayna Baszler.
I would be way more concerned about that match if Sonya Deville hadn't wisely taken the time since the signing of Baszler and Rousey to very much differentiate herself from being a strict MMA lady. If she had done that, she would have been absolutely destroyed by everyone around her. But it looks like she's remixing that in a bit and turning it into something a little bit more original. Exactly. More of a straight-up brawler than I'm like a fake MMA girl. I'm gonna beat you up. I'm gonna wallop you.
Which is why now I can actually see it. And I actually want to see it.
I loved what they put in. It was the surprise X factor that I needed to see out of this match. The quality was what I expected it. It was good. It was very enjoyable. But I was a little afraid that they weren't going to deliver much of a surprise in any respect. This was that surprise for me. They delivered. They stepped up. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville are up there for me.
Did anyone expect Nia Jax and Tamina to not even be in the final two?
I certainly did not expect that.
I thought they were.
I thought it was going to come down to Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Nia Jax and Tamina.
I think a lot of people did.
So when Nia Jax threw herself through that pod, and
without even close to Bayley,
and the other four just teamed up and pinned Tamina, I was like, ooh, and I was like,
interesting turn of events,
and I was like, they could go crazy here.
And with all the near falls they did, they kind of did.
I'm like, no, I mean, like, they could go full
I see what you mean.
They could go full swerve and be like, we're gonna give it to Fire and Desire. And there were times, and this is where I know the match got me. There were times where they did the near falls, and I was like, holy shit. Fire and Desire could do it. And I did like the fact that they still played with the shoulder injury. Sasha Banks couldn't hook in the bank statement, so she had to do something different.
So she modified it.
She
Yeah.
modified it. So I'm like, this hit all the right spots for me. Like it was sloppy at the beginning, as expected. Women's matches are rarely not sloppy at some points. So it's a little sloppy. Who cares? Move on. It's when it's a lot.
Brilliant.
It's when it's a lot sloppy that we get pissed. But
Yes.
little sloppy here and there, whatever. It hit all the spots it needed to. We had a surprise in the final two, and the right team won.
Absolutely.
And I think because the right team won and it was so like the result. Sorry, Brian. It was so predictable. I couldn't see this being in the main event, especially with the new found fan appreciation for Kofi Kingston.
Yes,
So,
and we're going to get to all of that. But as
But
far as
my-
the scheduling on the card, yeah, I really expected. I kind of figured that one of the Elimination Chamber matches would come towards the beginning of the show, just to even it out, just to get the pacing right.
My thought is if Tuesday didn't happen, if Kofi didn't happen, the women's chamber would have main evented the
I
show.
would agree with.
Fair.
But he pulled that hour long match out of his ass on Smack, gave the performance of his life, and got the crowd so into him that the WWE was like, we have something here.
The
Put it
performance
in the
that
main
was
event.
meant for Mustafa Ali. He was supposed to
Yep.
basically be that entire. That was supposed to be his Iron Man
Yes.
moment.
And I
But
got thoughts on that one later. But elsewhere, speaking of more surprises, we actually got the Usos defeating Miz and Shane McMahon.
This was all right.
Yeah,
This was Shane
this
McMahon
one was
being
all
his
surprise. For me.
Shane McMahon being his jumping being self. Okay, goes for.
well, that's what happens when you're the best in the world. I mean, come on.
Ugh. Okay, your stamina isn't that good. You can't immediately go from one coast to coast. He hits another coast to coast, but it's kind of like half. Maybe it gets halfway there and kind of hits him with the bottom of his shoe. That kind of deal. And then an elbow drop? Come on, man. Calm down.
Hey,
Calm
man,
down.
it's like I said, he's the best in the world. Of
Congratulations.
course, it was the Miz that took the pin.
Congratulations to The Miz and Maurice on their second child, by the way.
Agreed.
Just that.
Hooray, childbirth.
I do enjoy The Miz being the worst babyface on the planet. I'm going to win this for my kids and then lose every time. So that's fun. But I was shocked. Mostly because your boy just got arrested the night before.
Yeah, I think my tweet summed it
You were
all up for me. It was like, okay, I guess they're getting away scot-free.
And they're still being talked about leaving the company. So as I said,
it was pointless.
As I said,
Unless it's an incentive for them to re-sign.
they're not.
It's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be, but then Rikishi comes on Tuesday or whatever, and basically is like, yeah, they got the
they're
tag
still
team
going.
titles. They're still going. That's it. But
They're still not renewing. So
So
yeah, that is what he posted.
I said it
That I
on
honestly didn't see.
and I said it
I don't follow Rikishi.
Daddy knows best
on the
apparently.
show.
Oh,
I
boy.
said it on the show. Miz and McMahon are the smart choice to retain, but do not. Don't be surprised if the WWE tries to dangle the titles in front of the Usos in order to get them to stay. And guess what? The prophecy came true. I hate it. Moving on. That's it.
It's just a shame that it. Well, it's not really a shame. It just now brings the question out: which one of them is going to turn to have their singles match at WrestleMania, Miz or Shane? Who do you see going in as the heel?
I don't like the idea of the Miz as a face. I don't.
History would dictate that, but
But they're gonna swerve because it's WWE and that's what they do. So expect Shane McMahon to turn heel, and
I'd like to see that.
and the Miz be a face, but I don't trust that. The Miz has turned face once before, and look what happened then.
Though to be fair, at least he's actually getting an actual cheer from the crowd. He actually is a face that's actually working.
At the moment,
his first face run, you can definitely feel it being forced. Like, he's a good guy. You're supposed to cheer for him. You're supposed to be happy for him. Right?
It was random.
Ric Flair gave him the finger
he's
for
he's being an asshole, and then all of a sudden he attacks because Alberto Del Rio was a face at the same time. So it's like, what the? It's Twilight Zone back then.
No one likes Alberto Del Rio even as a face.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they tried. They tried him as a face. They tried The Miz as a face. So it's like, what is happening? That was that era. The Miz as a face. Alberto Del Rio as a face. What the hell is going on?
This, I almost hate to say it, but I'm almost mildly curious to see how they get there. I think we all know what the end result is going to be, but how we get there, that's going to be the question for me.
Ciampa and Gargano take the titles from the Usos, and then the Usos leave?
Possibly.
At WrestleMania?
Maybe.
I'm going to say 60% chance.
It's like, yeah, because, Ciampa and Gargano on the main roster are completely different characters than Ciampa and Gargano on NXT. It's like the night before they're going to have their one-on-one match for the NXT title. Next night at WrestleMania, they win the tag team titles. I hate you, but then I love you. And so I hate you, and then I love you.
I'll tell you what, if
they pull that storyline, I would love it.
I'll tell you what, if Tommaso Ciampa loses the NXT title before WrestleMania, I'm going to say they're going to have like an 80% chance of that happening.
Well, right now it's Gargano and Ciampa for a takeover WrestleMania weekend.
Are we guaranteed that?
That's the big story.
They can always pull double duty.
Rumor.
Did they do Did they actually put that on like spoilers or whatever? Did they do the tapings for that yet?
They did do tapings for the Dusty Road Classic.
Mm.
Okay, I still have not read any spoilers. No spoilers, please.
Lips are sealed.
Good.
Now the one that Tarek loves so much.
The match that cost me a certain big old gold belt. Finn Balor, thank you, Lord.
That brought Goldie back to Daddy.
Yes. Finn Balor, you suck.
You know that's not true.
You're right. He just has a horrible knack for timing. Yeah, he beat Bobby Lashley and Leo Rush. You have a new Intercontinental Champion, which is why you now subsequently also have a new Scholars of Wrestling Champion. So yeah, that happened.
This could have been fought at the 10 o'clock hour of Raw.
I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't a huge fan of this match.
It was very meh. It really was.
It's the whole storyline's like, oh, Leo Rush is put in there to take the pin, but it's like when it's Finn Balor and Leo Rush, it's pretty much even. You bring in Bobby Lashley, it's one-sided. Bobby Lashley, it's like it's the Vince McMahon, just because it's the Vince McMahon tactic that, oh, he's a big muscular man, the little man can't beat him. It's his David versus Goliath story, but that's how Vince McMahon actually thinks.
And the problem for me with this match was going in knowing the stipulation and what it was and why Leo Rush was in there. It was so predictable for me because, as I said on the prediction show, why would you do that specific stipulation? If it's a handicap match, fine. Okay, but if you're gonna put in the caveat, if Leo Rush gets pinned, Finn Balor can be Intercontinental Champion. Okay, this is the WWE. This isn't indie companies or anything like that. If the WWE puts an obvious stipulation in there, the obvious is going to happen.
It's textbook Chekhov's gun. If you introduce something, it's going to be used.
So, and it's a handicap match. Handicap matches are historically not good. Okay, So Leo Rush could jump around all he wants. Finn Balor can wrestle his ass off. Bobby Lashley can do whatever it is that Bobby Lashley does. Lift
things up and put them down.
But legitimately, as I said earlier, this could have been a 10 o'clock segment on Monday Night Raw. It really had no pay-per-view like qualities to it.
I think the thing that actually angers me more about this is just how basically Bobby Lashley being Intercontinental Champion was just as much an afterthought, that it's reached to the point where people, I'll include the people of Simon Miller from What Culture and the people at Wrestle Talk, when they say that now the Intercontinental Championship is completely pointless.
I won't go that far because now they have someone who is textbook Intercontinental Champion material. So if anybody can lift it back up to Bobby Lashley holding it was a disgrace to the title.
I just hate that. Yes, when you look at when you look at last year. And you look at Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler, they were putting on main event level matches for that championship. They were showing why that championship is a big deal. And then Dean Ambrose won it, and he had a very lackluster title reign as well.
Which now we know why.
Now we know why. And Bobby Lashley, which on paper, a heel Bobby Lashley as champion, Intercontinental Champion, I actually kind of dug it.
I dug it too, honestly.
And it was almost on the same level as what they did with what they're doing with the United States Championship. When you want to talk about a title that is completely worthless, it's that right now. When Nakamura won it, they did absolutely nothing with it, and then now R-Truth has it, and now when was the only time you
3
actually
weeks.
see? The last time you saw the United States Championship is when R-Truth won the damn thing. That's a worthless title. The Intercontinental Championship is still being shown. They're not doing anything with it, but at least it's still being shown, and now it's given to a guy who we know can actually put on phenomenal matches. And the whole rumor of the original plan was going to be Ricochet versus Finn Balor. I think it was supposed to be for the Intercontinental Championship. That was supposed to be Ricochet's debut match on the main roster. But Triple H changed that call for the smart reasons. But that would have been a great match.
And we can actually have it on WrestleMania now.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know we're getting the rematch. We know we're getting Balor versus Lashley at Fastlane. Okay, we're going to get that rematch.
Mm-hmm.
So Balor can overcome the holy shit Lashley. And then you have someone who actually feels like Intercontinental Championship material walking into WrestleMania as Intercontinental Champion. To me,
that's going to be glorious when I see it.
Yeah, to me, okay, Bobby Lashley, no matter what you think about him, okay, he doesn't have that secondary title type feel guy, okay? You don't, I don't see him as Intercontinental Championship material. I don't see him as anything lower than Universal or World Heavyweight Championship. Okay,
fair.
With the personality,
that's what you have Leo Rush for. And granted, the whole possible breaking them up after this match,
that's a bad idea.
I actually liked I liked the fact that there's because we're changing the match that was supposed to be for Raw. We'll just say, okay, they made it up off screen. Was it great storytelling? No, not at all. But you know what?
Terrible.
It was a terrible booking, lazy booking. But that's what happens when you're changing the show. When you're changing everything on the show, especially an hour and a half into the show.
Yeah, and it's one of those they're back together. Good.
They're back together.
Why'd you even do that? That's lazy booking that I will accept, good sir.
And I'll go more into that for Later on, because that's not the next match.
Oh, yeah. Next match is Ronda Rousey defeating Ruby
Can
Riott.
we even call this a match?
This was a segment.
No, you know what this was? I'll tell you exactly what this was. This is the kind of thing you give to me to put lotion on the burn that was my title loss. Like, hey, Jeff is a sad little boy. What do?
Bring out crutches and beat the shit out of people with it.
No,
have
before you
Ronda
do
Rousey dress up as Sonya Blade.
Yes.
Drop a Mortal Kombat reference right in my lap. I'm just like, thank you. I'm going to go into the corner with my lollipop and cry.
And sorry to be a complete guy here, but in a Sonya Blade costume, holy shit.
Hey,
Ronda Rousey looks amazing.
Ronda Rousey looked good, and she screamed flawless victory as she was putting Ruby Riott in the armbar. That was fun, and it made me feel better about my title loss and life in general.
And it kind of made me feel bad for Ruby Riott for like a split second, but then it's like, I know how this works. They do the bullshit on the pay-per-view, and then they have a one-on-one glorious match on Raw, which they did.
It was better.
It was an actual match.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot.
I don't know. I didn't enjoy it as much as you did. I feel like Ruby Riott basically got the short end of the stick here, on both nights.
But you know what?
She did, though. She kind of did.
But you know what? Here's the deal. Okay, we knew she was going to get the short end of the stick going in.
It's just everything about this.
As soon as Charlotte said on SmackDown, "I'm going to be at ringside," you knew that nothing about this match mattered whatsoever. Okay, admittedly, it went a little even less than what I thought it was going to.
Honestly, I thought the Raw match was going to be on the pay-per-view. At least that would have actually gave Ruby Riott some form of dignity.
I'm just happy that she actually got a full match. Whether she lost at the end of it or not, she got her full match. And it's not like she's not going to be back there. Nothing about this story had anything to do with Ruby Riott, and that's a shame. Okay, nothing. She was not built up on Raw at all. She was built up on the network. She was built up on the pre-show. That's all the build-up she got. So we knew what we were getting coming in. Okay.
Terrible booking.
And
everything about it was terrible.
Charlotte is at ringside, so you know immediately what's coming here. Okay, you know that Becky Lynch is coming down. Okay. And she just goes to town on Charlotte. Well deserved.
Did you see that, Bruce? God damn.
Yeah.
But
taking it like a champ.
When it comes to Ronda, what she did to Ronda, that was
brutal.
That was rough. That was pretty reckless there, Becky. Like, wow. I mean, like that. Like I'm pretty sure she got fined.
It's like boom headshot, boom headshot, boom headshot.
Oh, boom! Random ass crotch shot. Why?
It's like, wait, is that blood? Bam!
Yeah, it's like, and it's one of those. Like, I realize like they're trying to set it up a certain way, but I'm like, the only one who really deserved that beatdown was fucking Charlotte. I mean, like, Ronda Rousey was just there.
It's like, oh yeah, it's like, yeah, I'll take my frustrations out on Charlotte. I still want to kick your ass too.
Yeah,
if I'm not going to get the match at WrestleMania.
But here's the
at least I'm going to beat you up.
And I'm like, here's the problem. Ronda Rousey obviously got the bigger beatdown than the one that actually took your spot. So I'm like, why don't you go back over and make Charlotte bleed too? Once you see that Ronda's bleeding, you might if you're going all in. If you're going all in here, you might as well get every penny.
References.
Get every penny. Get every
Double
penny's worth. Double or nothing. Why not?
Right, why not?
Hey,
make them all
They'll
bleed.
get there. They'll get there.
All elite.
Wrestling references on a wrestling show. Meanwhile, Elsewhere on the card. Oh, you got more?
Elsewhere on the show, Lacey Evans.
Lacey Evans.
Lacey Evans. And moving on.
All right, Lacey. All right, there we go.
Elsewhere,
Did you
Lacey
actually
Evans.
find out? Do you actually know why they actually sent her out there?
No idea.
It was because the chamber was stuck.
Is that really why?
Yeah, they had to throw her out there for some time to get some time to fix the chamber.
So
That's why they had her come out there, do her thing, and they did commercials because they kept the Elimination Chamber was stuck.
Oh, I thought it was just another thing to pacify my savage disappointment by just throwing out more references to things I like.
And I know a lot of people hated that segment the night after with Lacey Evans and Otis, and I love the shit out of that. I love Heavy Machinery. I love what they're doing with Heavy Machinery.
I love Lacey
on
Evans.
the top. So,
Are they a team? Is that what they were kind of hinting at?
Nah.
Them getting together, or is it just two NXT call-ups just interacting with each other? It's like
I think
it's an odd couple thing.
Okay.
Otis has been doing weird shit since he came up. If you remember the Alexa Bliss set, "Pretty lady."
If he actually starts
And Lacey
following
is
Lacey
just way
Evans,
too classy for the room.
if she actually starts walking down doing her thing, and then you just see
Otis
Otis coming in pulling a Bubba Ray Dudley with Trish Stratus. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I see if they start doing stuff like that where he's just like creeping on her, and then they actually form something. I'll actually be kind of for her trying to
Class him
up.
And then all of a sudden you
That
just
would
see
be fun.
All of a sudden you just see Otis Josevic in just like a butler suit with like the sleeves ripped off, and he's just like goes at and just like, okay, you're my enforcers. Go whoop some nasties.
And everybody on the
I would love
IWC would hate the shit out of it, but the scholars of wrestling would be laughing our asses off in the corner, loving every minute of it.
It's giving them something to do other than just showing up, doing absolutely nothing, and just random promos that honestly it's not really their strengths, but them doing backstage segments of them basically being a comedy, which that will get the crowd invested in them, and then it'll slowly build them up. It's better than just them doing random shit backstage or on ramp interviews.
Lacey Evans can give them direction and poise and class, like the classy lady she is.
Well, since the whole rumors now that once Ronda Rousey's gone, she's going to take that spot.
You don't say.
Oh, I said it, and you're loving it.
Someone needs a towel.
Is that?
I think the future is in good hands.
So I have Cesaro. He has Becky Lynch. You have Lacey Evans.
This is an acceptable arrangement. Anyway, moving on. Speaking of
hog shit,
Baron Corbin beat Braun Strowman via an epic beatdown. This one was dumb.
No one cared at all about this. Granted, no one cared about it when they were announced it, and no one cared about it when they had it again at a tables match the next night on Raw. What was the only thing I'm upset about is like, it's so obvious what they were going to do. They made it a no DQ match. Of course, Drew McIntyre's going to get himself involved. Granted, I didn't see Bobby Lashley getting himself involved, and apparently they're still a team now, even though there was no real reference to it the next night on Raw. What the hell is the point?
Hey, remember when Braun Strowman meant something?
Oh God! Honestly, I thought they were going to continue this 6-man thing, and we were going to have Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper return to help Braun Strowman the next night on Raw. That would lead to a 6-man tag.
I was hoping that would happen.
Randomly,
I was hoping for it.
Randomly, I can still see that coming, but more WrestleMania time, because I think Bray Wyatt's going to come. I don't even know if it's going to be Luke Harper, because I think they're still trying to make Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy a thing, because Matt Hardy's trying to come back, and I think they're trying to sync up Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy again.
Are they?
So give them something at WrestleMania.
I heard rumors, but nothing confirmed either way.
Give them something at WrestleMania Give them a 6-man tag.
I want to see Uncle Bray at Mania.
Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt, Matt Hardy.
Again, I even posted it. I even posted it on Twitter once they were celebrating. Like, this is such a waste for Drew McIntyre. I still feel like he should have gotten the Lars Sullivan treatment and have him versus John Cena at one-on-one at Mania.
Remember when Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre were like raging bulls about to just beat the shit out of each other? That would have been instead of Baron Corbin, Braun Strowman versus Drew McIntyre would have been glorious.
I don't know what this fascination WWE has for Baron Corbin. I don't even see what the fascination, especially now. I don't even see what the fascination is for Elias anymore. I'm sorry, Elias can't put on a good match. He had a one-on-one match with Aleister Black, and was a terrible match.
Elias is that segment guy. He is the road dog of WWE modern days, where you can put him out in random matches and random segments, and he'll pop the crowd. He's got his purpose.
He has a purpose to get the crowd going, but when he's in that ring, he's
more
terrible.
of a punchy, kicky guy.
But most of his matches now are sleeper holds and rest holds. He's on remember when we had Charlie that one episode a while back where I said he's not. I don't see him going anything farther than the Intercontinental Championship. I don't see him going farther than that at all. I don't see him going. If he's going to win a title, it's either a tag title match or the United States title. That's how irrelevant I think Elias is.
Elias is not bound for the main event, but he does still have his purpose, I feel.
And if they were going to have Aleister Black debut, they should have had him debut on SmackDown the way he debuted against Andrade Cien Almas with his wife in the other corner.
That was when I first heard about that connection.
That was
okay.
That was amazing. That was a good debut match.
That was 10 times better than the Elias match, where Elias took 90% of the offense and Aleister Black just finishing move win.
And then you have the WWE official that they said today, Aleister Black debut was meh. Well, yeah, not through any fault of his own. That's it.
Man, talk about Raw. That crowd was terrible.
Yeah.
That was the wrong time to be throwing out new people. That was
SmackDown was a better time. They were in New Orleans. That's a wrestling crowd. Lafayette. Nothing.
What did you think was going to happen?
No, that crowd had zero reaction the entire show.
Yeah, they're not coming back there.
Oh, they probably will just at house shows or some shit like that. But my God, it actually took enjoyment away from the show, and to the point where I'm like, maybe I should continue taking a break from wrestling because
it was a one-off. It even sapped Bully Ray, who normally feels just the opposite.
I saw his tweet on it. Yeah,
and he was like, normally I don't get on crowds. I get on the wrestlers because they couldn't get the crowds into it. But no, fuck this crowd. That's basically what he said.
I don't know who asked this, but someone posted the tweet. It's like, why spend all your money to go to a wrestling show and just not get involved at all? Just no
sit
interaction.
There and watch.
It's a mystery.
It's sad.
Yes, indeed. But you know what was not sad? The main event of this show.
Kofi Kingston showcase.
Daniel Bryan won the Elimination Chamber and retained his title, but Kofi Kingston won the hearts of the nation and the world.
Nobody in history is going to give a shit who won this match. This
I do.
Is the match.
I get to see more of the eco-friendly WWE Championship.
You're not wrong.
I love that belt.
But let's face it. What people are going to remember about this match, they're not going to remember the winner. They're not going to remember anything else other than from the moment Kofi Kingston came into the ring, he was a force.
Mm-hmm.
This man, in 6 days, has become the top male face of the company.
At least the hottest one.
He should
by far.
I won't. I'm not even saying hottest. He gets the most cheers. Mm-hmm. He gets the loudest cheers. As of right now, as of 9 days ago, as of this recording, okay, he is the top face, the top male face in the company, okay, and no matter how the WWE wants to slice it, okay, yeah, he's getting the title shot at Fastlane.
Mm-hmm.
Goody. Whatever. He shouldn't be getting the title shot at Fastlane. He should be getting the title shot at WrestleMania. Because
I'm calling it now. It's going to be either a stipulation or a triple threat match at Mania. Bryan versus Kofi for the title.
But you know that now they're talking about a New Day breakup and Kofi having that as his Mania match. As of right now,
I don't buy it just yet.
They're talking about Daniel Bryan KO.
Yeah, that's
at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing too. Daniel Bryan.
I'm like, no.
Actually, there's a small list of people for Bryan at WrestleMania. Two of them is actually KO and Bray.
But I mean, like, after the last 9 days, how can you deny the impact that Kofi has had?
Yeah.
Okay,
he's a wild card in this whole thing. I think they're going to make him change their plans.
They did make him change their plans. He took Mustafa Ali's spot. Not just in the chamber match.
But change plans again.
Not even in the chamber match, just
But I
general.
guarantee you, in the chamber match, Ali wouldn't have made it to the final two. The plan was only for the gauntlet match that Ali was going to have that Kofi had the Ali spot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Kofi made the WWE have him be the final two in the chamber match, and let me tell you, man. Okay, first of all, the Jeff Hardy elimination, perfect. That was that.
He was the only one that actually felt like he really shouldn't have been there.
But I mean, like the way he got eliminated, he hit his finisher, was all discombobulated, took a knee, got out of there. That's it, and it was there were no missteps on the actual finisher. So it's like that actually looked really good. So I'm like, okay, so Jeff Hardy did have a purpose being in there. Makes sense.
Yarp.
Okay, Samoa Joe. Woof. This guy can't. This guy is always the first one eliminated. Always.
He's gonna get that title eventually. He's basically being like they're like having him be like, okay, you're just gonna keep taking these falls. Don't worry, you will get the title because Vince is still high on you. Vince still likes you a lot.
Kofi Kingston
gets his back on Randy Orton.
Stupid.
He got that back on SmackDown, but he actually pinned Randy Orton in the chamber.
Now it's payback. It's like, you got your payback for me trashing your car. This is me payback for you getting your payback for trashing your car.
It was classic, and the last 15 minutes of this match was classic. Pure babyface, pure heel. Tell me a year ago that Daniel Bryan wasn't going to be getting cheered by anybody at this point.
I still cheer him. He's a good character.
At that show.
At the show.
Not
okay.
looking at anything. Not looking at who we like.
It's not even just that. It's just character-wise.
You got everybody.
I like his character. I like his story.
Nobody.
I like his belt.
Nobody at that show wanted Daniel Bryan to win. At the show.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wanted Kofi Kingston to win, and when he hit that Trouble in Paradise for one split second, I was like, holy shit.
They're actually going to do it.
And as soon as Daniel Bryan won, the air just seemed like it just got sucked out of the room. It was like,
as soon as he tried to jump off the top rope, I'm like, oh, here we go.
It's not even just off the rope; it was off the pod.
As soon as he climbed up to the top of the pod, I was like, this is it.
I love this. I really do love this new design for the chamber.
This is, and I was like, this is where he fucked up. He was good.
That's your stupid.
This is where he fucked. He's climbing up to the pod. I'm like, up, here we go. Time to be Jeff Hardy. Mm-hmm. That's it. Every time he climbs to the top of something and leap it off. Every time he climbs to the top of a tall structure and jumps off, he misses. So it's like, okay, time for Kofi Kingston to do the Jeff Hardy and take the pin. So he did the Jeff Hardy. He took the running knee. 1, 2, 3.
The second running knee since he kicked out the first one.
Everything, all the air gets sucked out of the building. Daniel Bryan does a smart thing and bails. Okay, and Kofi Kingston gets
a new day.
And Kofi Kingston gets the
thank you, Kofi.
You did so well. That's the I don't like bringing this man up. But getting the Chris Benoit after the Chris Benoit Kurt Angle Royal Rumble 2003 match. The 2003? 2000? One of them.
I don't remember what year that was.
One of them, but the match was so good that Kurt Angle got out of there and Chris Benoit got the standing ovation from the crowd. Kofi Kingston got that. Well deserved because he was the star of this match by far.
Easy. And honestly, I could not be more hyped to see where this goes and to see if they're actually going to finally pull the trigger on Kofi. But all that aside, looking at this show as a whole, what would you give this on a scale of 1 to 5, the facial hair rating? What would you give this?
I'm gonna be completely honest. It was hard to get this to a classic goatee. It was hard because, as I said, it was the tale of two shows. Okay, the good was very good. Okay, the two elimination chambers were great, and the cruiserweight title was great. But what was in between? Holy shit, was bad. It was bad. So it was hard to sit through It was hard to sit through the meat of the show. The bookends were great. The meat was the middle was horrible, man. Was not a fan. But because of how good the elimination chambers and the cruiserweight title were, I can't go peach fuzz. But I can go classic OT.
I'm going to agree with you and say classic OT, but just because of how satisfying the whole show was front to back, I'm going to give this a high classic OT. Because of how satisfying the beginning and end were, with just enough of a twist to make it interesting, I was contemplating giving it a full beard, but I'm just going to settle for a high classic goatee. 3 out of 5. I'd even be a 3.75 out of 5, but you get the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Fool?
I'm going to go classic goatee as well. I'm kind of, I guess you're in stake. It's like a low classic goatee. You're a high classic goatee. I'm just the classic goatee.
Evening it all out.
You're right. Yeah, Buddy Murphy and Akira Tozawa, wrestling-wise, it was match of the night. Bayley and Sasha Banks, the Elimination Chamber, that was very good for what it was. Sloppy beginning, but satisfying ending. The second chamber match, the men's for the WWE Championship, was like story-wise, complete package match of the night. But yeah, Usos Miz, Shane McMahon, it was good, and the ending was complete shocker to me, which kind of keeps me invested on what's going on SmackDown. Granted, we're probably going to have the breakup at Fastlane, but until then, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. Finn Balor, handicap match, I didn't like that match. I didn't like how I didn't like how it was being booked, Finn Balor-wise. But The guy who I wanted to win the Intercontinental Championship won the Intercontinental Championship, and hopefully they'll actually have him do amazing things with that belt. And then the Ronda Rousey, Ruby Riott, Baron Corbin, Braun Strowman, I hated. I didn't enjoy anything about that. Especially with Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman, you throw the fact that these three guys are still together. Why? Especially after they're not going anywhere with that. And I don't even know if this is the end of Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman, which makes me feel sick to my stomach just thinking about it. This is what you're using Braun Strowman for, a worthless match with a worthless Baron Corbin. But yeah, it was an enjoyable enough show to just give it a classic OT.
And there you have it. Classic OTs all around. Now you've heard what we have to say. Now we want to hear what you think. Leave us a comment all across the internet, no matter where you're listening to us or viewing us. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube, hello. Leave us a comment. Leave us some likes. You know the deal by now. If you're on Facebook, look us up. Just run a search for the Scholars of Wrestling Show. And of course, if you want to get a little up close and personal, check us out on Twitter. You can find us at ScholarsOW for all the latest wrestling and episode uploads. You can also join in on the commentary by checking us out on our own personal Twitter machines. Fool, where can he reach you?
You can reach me at the Avataric.
Mr. Brian, where can he reach you?
You can find me getting yelled at by wrestling journalists at Atomic Beanpole.
And you can watch me being completely confused by that statement.
Who yelled at you?
I'm Robbie Rage.
Who yelled at you?
You'll find out.
Ooh, mysterious. In the meantime, you know who we are. Until next time, where we find out who yelled at whom, we are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled.
You're welcome.
See you next week for more mysteries and fun.
Yeah!